In section 5, we'll be doing some more problem solving and using formulas. Use formulas to solve problems. Solve a formula or equation for one of the letters, one of the variables. Okay. So number 1, substitute the given values into each formula and solve for the unknown variable. If necessary, round to 1 decimal place. Again, this is critical. If in Math Lab they ask you to round to 1 decimal, 2 decimal, 3 decimal, you need to know the procedure to do that, because you may have the right answer, but just not rounding it properly. And we'll go over that. So let's see what they're looking for here. Now, one of the very common formulas we're going to use a lot is the distance formula, which is this right here. Distance equals rate times time. So we have distance is going to be 63. That's the D equals time. What we don't know is the rate. So time is 9. So distance equals rate times time. They're giving us time and distance. We don't know the rate. So how do we solve for R here? Well, we just divide both sides, so we get the R by itself by 9. And we get R equals 7, because 7 times 9 is 63. And that was the algebra. All right, the perimeter of a rectangle is this formula right here. And if we made a little diagram, we would have a width on this end, a width on this end, a length, and a length. So we have 2 lengths right there and 2 widths that we add together to find the distance around, which is perimeter. Now here they're saying the perimeter is 32. The widths, apparently we don't know the lengths, so we don't know the 2L. We know the widths are 7, so we have 2 of those, so we're just going to substitute 14 here. So I'm going 2 times 7 right there to get 14. Now I'm going to transpose or just subtract 14 from both sides. This lets me do the arithmetic very well. So 2 lengths, let's see now, that's going to be, let's see, I need to borrow one here. And 8 and 1. Okay, so our 2L equals 18. We're going to divide both sides by 2. We get L equals 9. And that was the letter we didn't know. All right, now a pyramid. I think you all know what a pyramid looks like. Let's see if I can draw a pyramid here. Sort of a pyramid there. And the volume of a pyramid is this formula right here. So we know the volume, which is going to be 40. We know we have 1/3. And we don't have the big B, but we do have the lowercase letter h, which is 8. Okay, so how do we solve this? Well, from earlier sections, we said get rid of the fractions by multiplying both sides by the lowest common denominator, which is 3. Here this cancels out, and we get 120 equals 8b. I'm just switching these around. And we're going to divide both sides by 8. So we get b equals 15, I believe. And that is correct. Okay, now simple interest here. And this is getting jammed up, so I think I'll clear it, but you can always go back. Simple interest has this formula. This is your interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. So we have our I is 23. Our P is 230. Our rate is 0.02. And our time, we don't know the time. That was T. So we need to figure that out. And I used my calculator here. So I multiplied 0.02 times 230 and got 4.6 T, divided both sides by 4.6, and I get T equals 5. Okay? Now our last formula is a Fahrenheit formula. Celsius is in there also. They're asking us to convert the record high temperature of this to Celsius. So here we have the Fahrenheit of 102 equals 9/5 C plus 32. So we're just substituting our Fahrenheit temperature for F. Now if they gave us Celsius, we'd use the same formula, put the Celsius there, and we'd get Fahrenheit. But we're working the other way. So now we're going to subtract this from both sides. Minus 32 minus 32 gives us 70 equals 9/5 C. And if we wanted to get C by itself, again, from earlier sections, we're going to multiply it by its reciprocal. I can put it right there, 5/9. 5/9. Here this all cancels out. And we get 5 times that is 35/0 divided by 9. Get my calculator. Now when I do my division, I get 38.888. It keeps repeating, but remember it says to round to 1 decimal place. So we need 1 decimal place. Now the rule is you go to the place next on the right If it's 5 or more, we add 1 here. If it's 4 or less, we drop it. So we are going to add 1 there, and we're going to get Celsius equals 38.9. Okay, and that is that example. We're going to go on to letter F in a moment. Now in example F, we have sort of a word problem. You have decided to fence an area of your backyard for your dog. The length of the area is 1 meter less than twice the width. If the perimeter of the area is 70 meters, find the length and width of the rectangular area. So what I think we might need here is a picture. Again, it doesn't have to be exact in size, but just to give us an idea where to put our stuff here. The length of the area is this, twice the width. So we don't know the width at all. So this will be our width here. And what will our length be? Well, it's going to be twice the width less 1 meter. So it'll be twice the width less 1 meter. And we have 2 of those, don't we? Now we could have used the perimeter formula, but we could also pick it out from here. And all of this is going to equal 70. So let's write it over here. So we're going to have 2 widths, so 2 widths plus 2 widths, and 2 widths is 4 widths, minus 2, and that will equal 70. So we group like terms, 6 widths, add 2 to both sides, divide by 6, we get W equals 12. 6 goes into there once, perfect. So if our widths are 12, our lengths are going to be 24 minus 1, so it'd be 23 and 23. So let's see what they want us. Find the length and width. Okay, so that's easy. Our length will be 23. Our width is 12. And let's check our answers. This is letter F here. Ah, look at that, 23 and 12. I love it. A little bit of humor anyway. Let's go on. So, for the holidays, Chris and Alethea drove this many miles. Okay. They left their house at 7 a.m. and arrived at their destination at 3 p.m. They stopped for 1 hour to rest and refuel. What was their average rate of speed? So for something like this, which formula that we had above do you think we're going to be using? And if you said the distance formula, that is correct. Distance equals rate times time. Now you can start filling in. What was the distance? Well, the distance was 476. What was the rate? That's what we don't know. But what was the time? So if they didn't stop, they would have arrived at 3 p.m. So how many hours? So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. It looks like 8 hours. So we use our trusty calculator and we divide both sides by 8. We get R equals 59.5 miles per hour, right down there. Very good. Okay, let's raise it up a little bit, because now we do another type in which they give us a formula. They want us to solve for a particular letter. Okay, now the formula for a triangle is right here. They want us to solve for this B. So let me write it up here. A equals 1/2 BH. And they want us to solve for this B. So we want to isolate the B on this side. Again, the rules are if we have a fraction, had a little phone call coming in, and we're going to multiply both sides by the lowest common denominators, actually every term. So that'll be a 2 there, and that'll be a 2 there. So these 2's cancel out, and we get then 2A equals BH. And again, we want to solve for the B. So whenever we have a product, we get rid of the coefficient by dividing by the letter we don't want. So we're going to take the H out of there, H out of there. So B equals 2A over H. Right there. Okay, now for this one, we have a perimeter of a triangle, which is just the sum of 3 sides, but we want to isolate this side. So again, here's where transposition comes in very well. There's our P. We're going to transpose that one. It becomes a negative S sub 1. Transpose that, a negative S sub 2 equals S sub 3. And there's our answer. Again, these are terms, so we get rid of terms not by dividing, but just transposing them to the other side. Surface area of a special rectangular box. We want to solve for this L. So this is a term, we're going to just transpose it. So S equals this on the other side. Let's just change that a little bit. Will become a negative 2WH. We're just going to transpose that to the other side. Just change its sign. So how do I get rid then of the 4 and the W? Again, this is a product. So we get rid of items in a product by factoring them out. That is dividing. And there is your answer. This cancels and this cancels. All right, let's go on to our last one here. Now, the circumference of a circle for R. Again, this is a product, so we just divide out the items we don't want. Divide both sides by 2 pi. and I kind of crossed the R out here. So there it is, though, down here, right here. It came out very nicely. All right, so again, your practice and then your quiz me will be the proof that you are mastering these. We'll go on to our next topic shortly.